But I've just found an image in the most unusual of places. So I'm at a location that I've been to many times as a visitor, but never as a photographer. And it only occurred to me last week to come and check it out and see if it had potential for photography and see if there was any remaining autumn colours left. So I've spent the last day or two just exploring without the camera, and I'm happy to report that there are autumn colours left and there is definitely potential for photography. But coming back this morning, the entire woodland and the entire location looks completely different under a dawn sky, under the cover of darkness. All of the colours and the contrasting subjects really jump out at you because the darkness actually masks a lot of the chaos and a lot of the clutter that woodland is so often fraught with. So I found this scene that I'm confident will look quite nice. We have a lovely autumnal tree. Just the colours are so vibrant, warm oranges and rich browns. Yet it's situated in amongst this area of woodland with just no colour, just dark greens, but certainly no vibrancy, apart from this one orange tree. This really jumps out. Now this is a scene that instantly caught my attention because the orange tree acts as a wonderful subject in amongst its relatively colourless surroundings. Now it's not the image I was looking for. I talked about last week with the single tree amongst the bigger, darker trees, because there isn't enough uniformity here. There is a small group of straight, relatively ordered trees which kind of frame the scene, and I think this will look really nice. The sunlight is just starting to hit the tops of the trees, and as it filters down behind my scene, or the scene that I'm looking at, I'm hoping that the orange glow will backlight the leaves, giving it even more vibrancy. But we are deep in a woodland and the sunlight may not filter through and reach my subject, but we'll see. I think it will certainly increase in vibrancy as the sun slowly rises. The problem is, it has been windy now for the past 4 or 5 days consistently, blowing 20-25 mile an hour over the past couple of days, and it's started to calm down now, but we're still getting forecasts of 15 to 20 mile an hour winds. And the problem is, with woodland photography, it just moves and disturbs all of the trees. Now it's not too bad here, I'm fairly well sheltered, and I'm only shooting a single exposure, there's no panoramic. So I can handle a bit of motion blur, I don't mind it, although in an ideal world I would love a really crisp, clean, sharp image. My exposure's somewhere between 6 and 8 seconds. That'll change as the ambient light changes. But that does mean that I need a period of calm stillness, just waiting for the wind to drop, and it does drop every now and again. So it's just waiting for the opportune moment of nice ambient light from the rising sun and calm stillness. Now this video is very, very, very similar to last week's video in that it's calm and it's quiet and it's peaceful and it's slow, and that's because it's autumn and I'm in the woodland. It's very unlikely you'll see me frantically running around the woodland. Light doesn't move fast in the woods. You're never chasing the light because it doesn't penetrate at speed. Everything in the woodland seems to happen slowly and calmly, and you'll find there's no people around, there's no traffic, just wildlife and the trees, and it really is therapeutic. It's very, very nice. It's cold, it's a cold morning. There was some frost about. Unfortunately, the frost doesn't penetrate these woodlands, it needs to be a lot colder. But yeah, this is gorgeous. I've got a polarizer on. which takes the glare off the leaves. I'll show you how a polarizer works in the woodland, because a lot of people assume a polarizer is to only make blue skies blue and to take, you know, water, reflections off of water, but in the woodland it really increases the saturation and vibrancy of your image, because those leaves, all of the foliage in a woodland, that's waxy, and it's that waxiness that reflects the ambient light from the bright sky above. So you can actually remove the glare off the surface of the foliage, and it just makes everything feel richer and more vibrant. And it's a subtle effect, but you'll see now, as I spin the polarizer, you can see the difference it makes. So this is the scene with little to no polarization. And then I'm going to spin the polarizer, and you can just see the difference that makes. So it's always worth using a polarizer in the woodland.
So I found myself in tears.
As I waited for the perfect opportunity to take this photograph, the wind speeds just seemed to increase, blowing stronger with every minute, and it was clear that the wind was never going to subside long enough for me to be able to take this photograph. And as the ambient light grew stronger, I became less and less fond of this composition. So it was time for me to pack up, move on, and see if anything else would catch my eye. And to my surprise, something did, but it was in the most unusual of places. It's funny how you plan and explore and come to these locations with pre-visualized shots. And I talk a lot about planning. I also talk a lot about spontaneity. But I've just found an image in the most unusual of places. So walking back around the woodland, just having a look for any possible compositions, I walked through a car park, and I would never expect to find an image in a car park, but at the edge of the car park, along the fringes, were all the leaves where the wind has blown the leaves up against the bank, all covered in this crisp white frost. And it looked to me like there was a possible image down on the ground. So it always pays to look a lot closer. So I had a look and found a very small area of leaves washed up against the side, covered in frost. And I set my camera up directly above the leaves and just added a polarizer to take a bit of glare as the white frost and the waxy leaves were reflecting the bright sky above. And I don't know if it's going to be any good. It was a very cluttered, very chaotic scene, but something drew me to that tiny patch of ground, discarded at the edge of a car park. And I hope the image works, because it's those intimate shots that are really rewarding. So the sun's quite high in the sky now, as you can see. The light's too harsh to carry on photographing. I'm hungry and I'm a bit cold, so I'm going to head back home, have some breakfast and enjoy the rest of the day. And I will leave you with my final image from the side of that car park. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye for now.